Recently, I was doing some one-on-ones with people, and there was a woman I was working with who said her biggest fear is not being understood. And I said to her, okay, what happens if you're not understood? And she said, then people don't like me. And then I said, well, then you don't have a fear of being not understood. You have a fear of people not liking you. She said, oh, that's true. And I said, sometimes the ego likes to clump these together so you can't see the root pain. So I said, what happens if people don't like you? And she said, well, then I'm completely alone. And I said, then you don't have a fear of people not liking you. You have a fear of being alone. And she goes, you're right. And I go, okay, so there's a fear of being alone. And I said, what happens if you're alone? And she said, then I'm not loved. And aside from me pointing out, none of those are true. This doesn't mean this. The other point is if you think alone means not loved, then your real biggest fear is not being loved. And one of the things that I started really feeling into is the idea that we believe that love only comes from other people, and other people have egos. Now, I want to offer something. I want to offer the idea that right now you have a spiritual bank account. Every hour that you meditate or spend in nature or do something that's truly you is like a deposit. The more that you're making deposits through really actually sitting through meditation, through being, through eating healthy, through not picking up vices, you connect more and more to the idea that you're loved. The byproduct of that is that the fears that you have, the fear of not being understood, the fear of not being liked, the fear of being alone, they all go away because they're all symptoms of the real problem, which is that you've been conditioned to not put a deposit into your spiritual bank account. In fact, we spend almost all of our day withdrawing from our spiritual bank account. We do it when we eat bad food. We do it when we get caught in other people's business. We do it when we're constantly stressed. We do it when we overeat. This is the way that we've trained ourselves to live. What's amazing about 2025 is it's making us look at that. In other words, to move forward in 2025, there's no way that you can actually do it unless you're constantly filling your spiritual bank account. Because one of the things that's happening in this time is the collective lens and the light of what's going on is getting bigger and bigger. So the things in you that are not the truth, like that you're not loved, are coming to light. The things in that are issues in your life, that you're overwhelmed, that you are a people pleaser, these aren't you. What really is true is you are here to move to a place of love. And the time we're in is making sure you do. If you go into this time staying in the past you that's constantly in lack, this time is going to be very difficult because there's no more room for that you. The awareness was not nearly as high 20, 30 years ago. And a lot of people go, why isn't my life now like it was then? It was so much better then. No, the lens was smaller. This is very different. So you didn't have an awareness nearly as much in the past of the traumas that are in your body and the stories that you're holding on to and these false things that are based on what you created to survive as a child. I believe very much that 2025 is this opportunity and actually it will force you into connecting and filling your spiritual bank account through deep meditation, through not withdrawing so much through your vices, through going inward, you will discover the deepest truth that we're all seeking, which is that we are truly loved. This is a big deal because when you start to see you're truly loved, you are going to be less triggered, you're going to be less angry, you're going to be less caught in other people's issues. The more you actually connect to the fact that you're loved, the more the you that literally exists based on the idea that you're not loved. That's what the ego's created out of. The illusion that I'm not loved, that I'm whatever I had to be to maneuver through my parents. When you start to realize that you are loved, the ego will slowly disintegrate in that love. In other words, the character, the ego that you needed to survive with the parents that you had as you grew up in a totally unconscious different time, that you is no longer useful in 2025. And I believe 2025 is almost like a slow, forced portal that is here to immerse you into the truth of what you are. and you no longer can be what you're not. If you don't understand what's happening, this will be a painful time because it's just shining a big exposed light on the you that thinks you're not enough, that you're a burden on the world, that you're a failure, like your dad said, all these wounds. But the more you start to fill your spiritual bank account with the deposit of true self connection and love, the more you're going to expand. Last week, I put out a video, and the video was about killing the doer. And it was really awesome. And it's called 2025, You're Going to Be Forced to Awaken. I'm very proud of the video. And I talked about how you have a false doer. And this doer goes, I got to do to protect from the wounds. And what I want to offer you is the more you fill your spiritual bank account, the more the wounds just leave, the more the pain just leaves, the more you stop moving based on up and down, and the more you move based on here. And you start to realize the idea of what you thought was you will no longer be useful, and you will actually connect to the truth of you. So last week I made this video, and then I decided to announce that we had a product that we had worked so hard on, and we made a major meditation bundle of 5 for $20. And I have to say real quick, I'm setting this up to point out something else that I'm doing now. But when we offered that, I was shocked by the response. By making the product almost nothing, $20, we sold so many, and we've been flooded with comments of people saying these meditations are shifting their life. In fact, if you bought the meditation bundle last week, please share in the comments what's happened for you. We'd love to hear it. This opened the door for me deciding to make all of my products and everything I do so much cheaper. I just decided to get it out to as many people as possible, even if it doesn't really make that much of a profit, but instead just creates change. So I've decided that January 25th, I'm going to do an online event about filling your spiritual bank account and how 2025 is a portal. And this online event, which will take place Saturday, January 25th, between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. Pacific, so that adjusts to whatever time zone you're in. So it's almost a full day event. Usually these events in the past we've done, we offered for hundreds of dollars, and we sold a ton of them. And I just want to make it completely cheap. And I want to create a space with you to heal the wounds. And so I wrote down some of the things that will die if you move into the higher vibration of the portal. The people pleaser. The people pleaser is a character that's based on lack. It goes, I need to please this person and make them happy so they don't hurt me, or so they don't abandon me, or so they don't not love me. This only would happen if you don't understand that you are loved, and really the true essence of you is love. The addict. Addictions only come from being in a place of lack. When you start to move into your wholeness, you will notice that a thing that's an addictive thing, like a beer, might drop your energy. More and more, I'm noticing things that we've totally accepted as normal can be addictions too. Recently, I got off caffeine and coffee, and I have to tell you, one of the things that it's done for me, whatever you do is perfect, but what it's done for me is it's helped me realize that coffee helps my ego get things done that my ego wants done. People have coffee before they go to a job they don't want. If you're going to a party, but deep down you don't know that you want to go, you'll take a coffee. It'll motivate you to go. I noticed when I got off caffeine, I have very little people pleaser. I have very little, yeah, I'm going to that thing. I'm just feeling through some of the tired that is existing, because for years I've had coffee and I've done a lot of things under a place of adrenaline, of a place of pushing, of a place of making it happen. And under it is energy that goes, hey, can that character go? I'm tired. So I've noticed that as I've been filling my deposits in my spiritual bank account, the addict is falling off. The I'm responsible to provide character. A lot of people have, I'm responsible to provide for my family. Of course, there's aspects where we are, but there's an egoic way that we pick that up from our parents, or we go, I don't want to be like my parent that didn't provide, so I'm going to do it. And I want you to know, if you let that character leave, the egoic format leave, a higher can provide through you. And you start to go, God provides. But you have to truly move into the embodiment of that and connect to that God that provides. But this is one of the benefits of moving into the place of love. The I do everything all by myself. There's a person that we've all created that does everything by themselves, and they push away help, and then they resent that no one helped them. But the more you move into this, you start to realize there's no me that is a self. And the more I do this work, the more powerful I am, the less doing there is, and the more that gets done. The money attached. When you move up in the love that you are, you stop being someone that feels unworthy of receiving higher money. You move into a higher place of abundance, and you're not spending it nearly as much on addictions or lower vibration things. I manage what others think of me. You would only do that if you don't feel full love for yourself. And that is something that you can do the inner work on and actually feel. The more you actually feel truly through the actual meditation, through deciding to really do this, people hear this stuff, it feels good. And that's the same as hearing someone explain to you how a gym works and not going and working out. The attached to circumstances that don't involve you person. A lot of us love to flip through the phone and be attached to what's going on in other places and other worlds. And I understand there's a caring for people that are hurting and all that. But the more you move up in love, you're going to find that the wound that's triggered by things going on everywhere else heals. And believe it or not, that also brings a higher level of healing to the world than you staying in a low vibration, angry about it. This is really what's changing. The addiction to past and future goes away because now is the only place there is. And the higher you go up in vibration, the more you stop moving linearly and the more you start moving vertically, and you move through miracles to higher level vibrations. I've gone through so much of this, especially in the last few months. I've gone to higher and higher vibrations. The authority is outside of me. A lot of us have had addictions to it's a speaker, it's a politician, it's a musician. These things are more important than I am. Actors, another person, just another person's approval, your mother-in-law's approval. Like all these things go away when you start to connect to the truth of what you are. The I have to control everything person, whether it's inside or outside, like you feel off and you go, what is this? What's wrong with me? The more you do this work, the more you're going to move from two people to one. Let me explain that. Let's say your body feels off. You have a headache. Now you can just go, I have a headache, and that's fine. Or you can have a part of you that goes, I have a headache. Why is this here? What am I doing about it? That's the two yous. There's one part of you that feels something, and there's another part of you that has a resistance to it and a war with it, which can create more of the pain. Overwhelm comes when you believe you're a small separate self. And the more that you think you're a small separate self, the more you think of you as holding all these things and you have to align. The more you move up in alignment, the more you let God take over and work through things through you. This is a major difference. So we're doing this event, and we are doing this event January 25th. Live. You're going to be able to work with me, talk to me. We'll be bringing people on. We're going to do meditations, and I'm making it, check this out, $35. This just pays our bare minimum bills, but I want as many people as possible there. It's also free for people that are on the Absolutely Everything Pass. So you'll get a great connection with amazing, open-hearted, like-minded people. If you want to join us January 25th, and you want to really get present and open to the idea that there is a portal of love and healing that you can go through, which will cause you to go through aspects of, I don't even know who I am. That's true. You never did, by the way, too. You just thought you did. But a lot of that you is trying to go now because it doesn't belong in this higher vibration world that we're moving into. Join me at 2025 Journeying Through the Portal. And if you haven't gotten them, check out the meditation bundle. They're literally $20. And we are flooded with comments saying these are some of the best things that are helping people with tangible stories of change and miracles as people do it. It's literally $20. So join us at the event, Journeying Through the Portal, on January 25th. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to talk to you on a chat. I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to work with you. And then also pick up the meditation bundle because it's life-changing and it's awesome. It's an honor to do this work with you. I'm so excited to be moving up in vibration. I'm so excited to feel my own fears and wounds dissolve as I spend 2 to 3 hours a day now meditating, and I'm pretty much offline other than listening to something inspiring that helps me. It's changed my life. I'm off of so many addictive things, and I am finding God, and I'm connecting and immersing myself with God, and I dare you to do the same. You do not have to live a life of pain and stress. That's the old you, and you might just be used to it. You might just think that's what you have to do. I'm here to offer you, just because you're used to being in lack doesn't mean it's how you were designed to be. Join us at Journeying Through the Portal, check out the meditation bundle, and know that I'm very appreciative of you. Thank you so much.